Ever wondered why all these channels only show you the good Russia?
Check it out, guys. Can you believe it? I mean, it is absolutely Europe.
I never saw anything like this before, not in Europe, not in the US, and I really feel like Moscow is definitely the city of the future at this point.
Beautiful nature, beautiful country, people are so kind and resilient. Do they love Russia that much for real? Or is it more like a Delusional? Because they will never tell you that people get arrested for walking with a blank piece of paper, or comedians being deported from the country for telling jokes. I watched all these videos, and let me explain why foreigners in Russia will never tell you the truth.
I don't see any gays and liberals on the streets. I see men and women couples. I don't see transvestites. I don't see homeless people. This place is heaven on earth. I'm moving here forever.
I feel like whenever anyone mentions traditional values, that means they hate gays. It's like a code for being homophobic.
Какой выбор, все женщины красиво, сколько есть везде на улице.
It's given passport bro, right? 100%. They were doing passport bro before it became mainstream. So the first type of Westerners who moved to Russia are the one looking for traditional values. And let me describe their portrait real quick. They hate gays. They're clearly homophobic.
I don't want gay parades. I don't want to see two men kissing on the street. I don't want to see a man dressed like a woman.
They hate democracy and democratic values.
My views on a president being elected every 4 years have actually changed, because when you live in the US and you have these massive swings between parties, and like one day you're living in like one country and the next day you're living in a completely different country, and it's honestly very destabilizing.
They are terrified by the woke culture, by feminism, and they say that being born as a white man in the Western society right now is the worst thing that could happen to you.
As a straight white male, I think I'm treated better in Moscow than I am in the US.
Poor straight white guys. It's so hard to be the wealthiest people in the world. It's so hard to hold all the political power in your hands. So what I'm saying, this type of people do love Russia for real. And they don't criticize the current Russian policy because they do love it.
I'd always had positive thinking about Russia. I'd always liked Russia. I'd always liked Putin, what was going on here since the early 2000s. I always said, I wish this guy was the president of the United States.
Especially people who stayed after February 2022. Like the expat community got weeded out. For this type of people, Russia is a perfect place to live in.
You see, I had the Z tattooed on my chin. I got that tattooed the second day of the special operation because I was so happy about it. But
it's a country where LGBTQ plus community considered an extremist organization, just like Al-Qaeda and ISIS. We want to erase all the non-Muslim people in the world. Yeah, and we want equal rights and not being persecuted for sexual orientation. And I'm not attacking anyone. Like, it's normal if you live in this country, you love this country, you appreciate this country. And I get that, like no one else, because that's why I live in the US. I live here because it's more aligned with my values than nowadays Russia. And if it was an ideal world, we would just do a little exchange between two countries. All the people who want patriarchy, traditional values, and hate gays to the left, and then all the people who are liberal, who support gays and support free speech to the right. Speaking of free speech, that's what this gentleman pointed out.
you can't say nothing in America anymore unless you're liberal. Or I'd say if you're a degenerate or something like that. And I was just really sick of that in business, having to watch everything I said because somebody was offended by something.
I agree, being cancelled sucks. It's so sad. It's way worse than being in jail for what you said, or being poisoned and tortured for your political beliefs. Because you're at least not cancelled. You can still be in movies, right? I'm sure Navalny prefers getting an Oscar for a movie that was about him than being freaking not poisoned and not in prison. And that's how we transition to the next type of Westerners in Russia. Not everyone is blind and in love with what Russia is doing, because clearly some parts of Russian state are malfunctioning right now, and like invading another country is a little bit off. But why are these people not calling Russia out? As you might have already guessed, Russia is not a country for multiple standpoints. It doesn't have space for independent POVs. That's why people choose not to comment on the current politics. And it makes a lot of sense. And the second type of foreigners in Russia are the ones who don't necessarily agree with what Russia is doing, but they also don't want to get in trouble. As simple as that. This guy, Bold and Bankrupt, is a perfect illustration of how it works. You travel to Russia for years, you know the language, you create tons of content about this country, but as soon as you start criticizing the current policy, get your ass out of here. We don't like you anymore. He was deported and banned from ever coming back. But these guys are safe for sure.
I just feel like there's honestly more stability in Russia than there is in the US. I mean,
I just fell in love with Russia and decided to move here full time. I got a Russian passport, found and married a Russian woman, and we have two daughters now.
Not only they're safe, but they're also being used for state propaganda. This YouTube channel is run by the Russian parliament and it's getting like hundreds of thousands of views. They're showing foreigners who moved to Russia and they love it. Look at these people, they are foreigners and they chose to live here. And they're saying that Russia is better than Europe and the US. Look, it's not us telling you, it's them. It's coming from their mouth. So stop your wet dreams about moving to the US and Europe, because it sucks. Russia is better than them. So now you choose to ignore the politics out of fear, but in the future, it's very likely that you will be legally bound to only say good things about Russia. Russia is planning to make every foreigner to sign the loyalty agreement. The terms of this agreement are pretty straightforward. You only say good things about Russia, or you're deported and banned from coming back. So don't expect any revealing type of content from foreigners in Russia, because they are either scared of the consequences or they are blinded by their true love for nowadays Russia. Speaking of creators who want to talk about real stuff, I need your help. I need your feedback on my channel. And if you want to video chat with me, if you want to say hi, there's a Google form link in the description down below. So if you fill it out, I will contact you. We will video chat or text messages, whatever. Thanks for watching and see you next time.